Take the rod in your hand and stretch it forth. What am I saying? When God stretches forth his hand, in the Bible, that means that God is releasing his power. When God told them to stretch forth, what happens? That means true Sabbath can be experienced. When God stretches forth his hand, that means that people got to be healed. That means people got to be delivered. That means people got to be set free. That means debts have to be canceled. That means folks got to be forgiven. That means sins have to be done away with because God has stretched forth his hand. I'm in my seat when I tell you this. Jesus ain't telling us something he hadn't done in his own life. He had a problem in his own life. Can't you see him when they whipped him all night long? Can't you see the crown of thorns on his head? Can't you see the spear? They pierced him in the side. But guess what, y'all? They put nails in his feet. But then guess where else they put nails? They put nails in his hand. Jesus had a bad hand himself. But they messed up, y'all. They should have kept his hands like this. But when they messed up his hands, they messed up and stretched out his hand. And when he stretched out his hand, he released his power. What am I trying to tell you today? If you can just stretch forth your hand, don't worry about your problem. Don't worry about your situation. If you can stretch forth in faith, that God of ours has a way of making a way out of no way, of turning midnights into midday. Is there anybody here that knows that God has worked through your problem? Is there anybody here ever won with a bad hand? Is there anybody here just like Jesus, won with a bad hand? Ray Charles was blind, but he won. Whoopi Goldberg had dyslexia, but she won. What problem do you have? But look at you now. You still winning because the God we serve, he's able to work with us. He's able to work with us in spite of our bad hand. Is there anybody here? God ever made your bad hand better? Is there anybody here? God ever changed your situation? But if you ever had a bad hand in life, but God turned that thing around, you ought to lift up your hands to let somebody know, look at what I've been through. My hand was bad, but look at me now. My hands are up. I'm giving God the glory. I'm giving God the praise. Is there anybody here? Is Joshua Frito here? Don't mind waving your hands in the air and wave them like you don't care. And if Jesus ever brought you out, ever made a way, ever picked you up, ever turned you around,